Hi, welcome. I am super excited to see you here this week. I am super excited for this topic. 4 ways to generate revenue when cash flow is tight. But before we dive in, if you don't know me, my name is Christy Lawrence and my business is Time to Profit. What I do is I help business owners increase their profits by helping them find and win clients they love working with. And here is the deal. We are talking today about how you can generate cash quickly when things get tight. If you are a business owner, at some point you're going to have a cash crunch. You're going to say, oh my gosh, my expenses are more than my revenue. I need to pay bills. I need to get stuff done. I need money coming in. How do I do that? And how do I do that in a way that is effective but not slimy? And that's what we're going to talk about today. Here's the deal though. If you're at a plateau in your business and you run into this scenario, it's hard because the things that are going to set you up for success in the long term aren't always the things that are going to generate cash in the short term. All of the strategies I'm talking about today are things that are complementary to a long-term strategy, but they are not the entire strategy for finding and winning clients. But they will help you when things get tight to be able to generate some fast wins for you and for your clients so that you can continue to work your long-term strategy. The thing that I really want you to hear though is that this does not replace a long-term strategy. I've talked before and we'll link back to it about how to create momentum in your business because ultimately you want a business that generates consistent cash flow, that you have the right systems, tools, and strategies in place to do that so that you're not having to run into these cash crunches, solve the problem, then you get distracted, you're doing all your client work, and then, oops, here we go, we have another cash front because we haven't been doing the activities that generate sales, okay? So just want to make sure we're clear. This isn't the entirety of a long-term strategy. This is something that you can do in addition to your long-term strategy when things get tight. So let's get right to it. So I'm going to give you 4 things that you can do right now if cash flow is tight to help you generate some quick wins. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to make a list of who is most likely to buy or work with you in the next 30 days. Make that list based on the conversations you've been having, who is most likely to be a good fit to actually work with you in the next 30 days. This will help you really focus your efforts where the immediate opportunity is. Sometimes these people get lost because we're busy doing other things. We're developing new conversations. We're finishing other projects. So this is kind of your moment to sit down and be clear. Who are the people that are most likely to work with? Hyper-focus your efforts on serving those people, but not just serving them, having candid, direct conversations. So what I always recommend is look at that list. Can you reach out directly to the people on that list and make a special offer with a deadline, right? What can you do to help these prospects make a decision? Start with who's already in the prospect or in your pipeline, people you've already had conversations with. You do not have to start from scratch, but make sure for these people that you've actually laid out how they can start working with you, that you've been super clear. You're not waiting for them to say they want to, that you've said, hey, I feel like I can really help you with XYZ. What are your thoughts? Do you feel like it's a good fit? Would you like to move forward? Is this something you want to do? Right? How can we get started? Ask those direct questions so that they aren't people that maybe want to work with you, but have been unsure of how to do that or initiate that, and you're missing that opportunity. So really that's the first thing. Start with the list of the people who are most likely to buy. Go out, have conversations, and be direct with them. Direct is not the same as pushy, right? We still give them an opportunity to say no. It's not about convincing, but we make it super easy for them to say yes as well. The second thing that you can do is reach out to past clients that you'd like to work with again. Touch base, see how they're doing, ask them if they have areas in their business where they could use additional support. There's really 2 different ways that you can go about this. The first is very direct. I really enjoyed working with you. What I have done is now that it's been 6 months, when we were working together before, we had kind of talked a little bit about XYZ area, but it wasn't a priority at that time. Is that something you'd like to revisit now? And I'd be happy to put together a proposal for you on how I could assist you in that area. right? Very direct. The second thing is a little bit less direct, but you can use something if you're kind of unsure, you don't feel comfortable going the more direct route, along the lines of, hey, I wanted to reach out. I've got a couple of openings this month for new clients. Do you happen to know anyone who is looking to, and this is where you add your value proposition, right? Generate more sales in their business. Do you happen to know anyone who is struggling with their sales systems? Do you happen to know anyone who is looking to sell their home and downsize into a smaller home? Do you happen to know anyone who is purchasing a new car that might need an updated insurance quote when that purchase happens? What I like about this strategy is if you are uncomfortable with the more direct route, you're doing two things. You're asking for a referral, but you're also being very clear and specific in the type of referral you're asking for. And this does two things. One, it helps them really think specifically about 1 to 2 people who fit that criteria you've defined. And it also maybe helps them to self-identify, right? Like, well, I could use some help with my sales systems. I'm looking to sell my house. I'm looking to downsize, right? I can see myself in those scenarios sometimes too. So they can refer somebody else or they can refer themselves. So the first thing we did was make a list of who's most likely to buy in the next 30 days. Then the second thing we did was reach out to past clients, right? So those are your first 2 strategies. Your third strategy is to revisit people you've talked with who were interested, but for whatever reason didn't move forward. Sometimes we call these lost leads, lost souls, dropped opportunities, lost momentum. There's a lot of categories, but there are people that at some point were interested enough to have a conversation with you about your business. They were a good fit. You feel confident that your product or service will serve them. But something happened and it just didn't move forward, right? And there's a lot of reason that happens. Sometimes we get busy and we just forget to follow up. Sometimes the people we want to work with get busy and it becomes a low priority item and other things take precedence over that. Reach out to those people. I will tell you there is so much untapped opportunity with people you've already had conversations with, when it wasn't that they didn't want to do what you were doing. It wasn't that they didn't see value in it. Some other reason, something else happened and they fell off, and it doesn't mean they're not a good prospect. So reach out to them, right? And an easy way to do that is to just be very direct again and honest. You'll see some themes in how I talk about conversations, direct and honest. We talked about a year ago about doing some sales training for your team. And I wanted to revisit and see if that was something you're still interested in pursuing in the near term. What's changed with the team? Do you want to revisit this? Keep it simple and you will be surprised how many opportunity there is with leads that got lost along the way. So that's your third strategy, is to reach out to people you've talked with before, but for whatever reason, they did not become clients or customers. The fourth strategy you can do to generate cash flow quickly is to do something out of your comfort zone, okay? So there are a lot of times there are hidden opportunities, sometimes hidden in plain sight, to generate revenue. But we don't capitalize on those opportunities because they push us. We're not comfortable. And whether that's doing a full-blown sales presentation, making a sales call, dropping by a prospect's office in person, following up and asking directly for the business, we hold ourselves back and we miss those opportunities. So this is a great opportunity to experiment. And here's how I want you to approach this. Brainstorm 10 crazy ways that you could win new clients, and don't edit. Put everything, even the craziest, scariest, most uncomfortable ideas on paper. And then do one of those things that make you uncomfortable. You'll be surprised at the results and you've got nothing to lose. So those are your 4 strategies. Just to recap, make a list of who's most likely to buy in the next 30 days. Hyper focus on those people. Reach out to past clients you'd like to work with again and either directly propose an opportunity to work with them again or ask for a referral. Revisit people that you've talked with who were interested but somehow got lost along the way. And then the fourth one is do something outside your comfort zone. So here's what I want you to do next. in the spirit of keeping it simple, pick one of these 4 strategies and then put a day and a time in the next 24 hours when you're going to take action. Put it on your calendar. Calendar this. Pick your strategy, put it on your calendar, and then head to mytimetoprofit.com to the Facebook group and share what strategy you are going to focus on. If you haven't already, go to mytimetoprofit.com and download the free guide, 5 questions to multiply your sales. Again, that's mytimetoprofit.com, and you'll find that free guide along with additional sales planning tools and strategies to help you find and win the clients you most want to work with. I will see you next week.